Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet Rayne.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Vialet B Rayne, and my guest today is Ali Sweeney. She's one of our team members at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, so I'm excited to have her on here because she does some teaching in the center. She's a gifted clairvoyant and a visionary force behind a light insight, a transformational, hey, it's early in the morning, I haven't had enough coffee, business dedicated to helping individuals break through barriers, gain clarity, and step into their highest potential. With a unique blend of intuitive insight, energy work, and practical coaching, Ali empowers her clients to overcome limiting beliefs, navigate life's transitions, and create a meaningful, lasting change. So welcome to the show, Ali.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Violet. It's such a pleasure to be with you and on the podcast and your audience.
Oh, well, thank you. So how long have you been doing this, and what took you down this path to do this type of work? Have you always been clairvoyant, or did that come in later? Just share with us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so my story is for those people out there who did not grow up clairvoyant and wonder what it could be like. I grew up in a house where logic reigned supreme, where every decision was made by data and reviewing all of the options and getting all the possible information before you made a decision. And as a result, I got an engineering degree. I actually worked for an engineer or as an engineer. And then my brother died when I was 22 and he was 23. And that was the moment where I just said, there's no way that I can't talk to him again. Like that was just not going to be a possibility in my life. And so I started down the spiritual path like lots of people do, just kind of looking for connection, looking for ways, looking for more than engineering. And along the way, I knew I wasn't meant to be an engineer, but it took me a little while to get out of that. And after I had my children, the universe conspired to have me meet a person who called herself an intuitive coach. And Colleen Miller is her name. I'm like, oh my gosh, I owe so much to this woman. Because I started working with her, and what she said to me one day was, well, do you think that you could do this? And I was like, no, I'm an engineer. No, like that's not how I work. I don't know these things. I don't see these things. And she was like, okay. And by the next time I talked to her, she had planted this seed that I could not stop thinking about. Like, could I do this? Do I want to do this? And so I started asking her, like, well, how would someone do this if they wanted to explore their intuition and become clairvoyant? I didn't even realize it was possible. And so she told me there's psychic schools. And so I went to a psychic school and I fell in love and I became addicted. I knew that this was what I was absolutely supposed to be doing, that this is how my life ended up being this way. And I started my business right out of school. So that was 2015. So it's been a long time so my business is now I work individually with clients. That's a lot of how you introduced me, Violet. And it is my honor. Like I absolutely just love going to places. Everybody's life has pain in it. And I spent so much of my life sort of avoiding that caused all kinds of other problems in my life. And so now I get to be the person who says, it's okay. We can do this. I'll be there right with you. And on the other side of that is the life you love.
I love that. I love that because, I believe that it's about discovery and curiosity that leads
Yes.
people where they're supposed to be. Be curious, ask lots of questions. Don't take everything at face value. I worry about the world today that people believe the internet has the truth. Well, not everything you see, read, or watch on the internet is true. Not even videos today and people being interviewed. It drives me crazy how much AI videos are out there that are
Right.
false news, false videos, not even true. We can create all this now. So I think discernment is critical, but you need to be curious. You need to ask questions. You need to seek those answers, but don't take everything you read, see, or watch on the internet as factual. Get out there and dig a little bit more. Be really trying to discover what it is, because people believe, I meet them all the time. I'm sure you do too, Ali, and they're like, I can't do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has this. Everybody can do this. It is not special. It's
Mm-mm.
for everyone. When you came in with these gifts, you just shut them off or ignore them or poo-poo them or push them to the side,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody has it. You just don't know what you're looking for sometimes. I think knowing helps us unravel those old beliefs and thought processes, right? Of
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because that's how you find what your truth is,
mhm.
right? When you start to unravel what everybody else has told you what the truth is, whether it comes from the internet or your parents, right? And so once you start to unravel that, you get to know who you really are and what truth is for you, because it's different for everyone.
It is. And everyone has wounds. I love that you said that. Everyone has
Everyone.
wounds, pains, things that you're trying to hide, sides of yourself that you don't want to look at or you want to ignore. Everyone has all of these things. And when you start really diving into who you are and how you show up in the world and what your truth is, it is life changing for everyone. I love to watch them bloom and blossom and find their way to joy and happiness and feeling very aligned. I think alignment is really key, being aligned with who you are.
Yeah. And aligned in your mind as well as your heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being able to find that heart space and really know, hear what it is you want to do in this life and who you want to be in this life.
So, as an energy healer, the one thing I've found throughout most of my doing this and previously, when you talk to people about healing, they're like, "Oh no, I gotta go. This, I." So,
Yeah.
share with us the importance of healing and just your perspective on healing practices and kind of what you do for clients.
Yeah, I think we are taught to avoid it, right? We're taught to not look at whatever the pain part might be or the part that's stuck. And so that's where you get that person that's like, I think I'd rather not, right? And the truth is that it doesn't go away if we avoid it, right? It can actually be amplified by avoiding it. And so what happens is you get used to carrying that load, right? It's really heavy to carry grief around, but you get used to carrying it, so you do. But what the opportunity is in healing is to move through that grief so you don't have to carry it anymore. It's not that whatever caused the grief didn't happen to you, it's that you get to decide to live your life anyway. And when you find that personal empowerment to choose, like, yes, this happened to me, and I am going to create my life, my gosh, the doors that open. And so, what that actually looks like in a session with me is I can see the energy that might be holding, right? I can see whatever that is is the piece. Maybe you're not even actively trying to avoid it. It's just unconscious and you don't know that it's there, right? That's most often the case, is that it's just unconscious and you don't even know that it's hanging around. And when we name it, it can no longer be unconscious, right? Now it's known to you, and you get to decide what you want to do with it. Do you want to move through that grief, or do you want to carry it around some more? And it's just amazing offering that choice to people. And they go, well, of course, I don't want to hold on to that belief that my mom taught me that I'm not this or whatever, right? But it's amazing that without that kind of just naming it, how often we avoid it or live as if carrying this thing around is really a comfortable place to live. Because that's the untruth of this, is that it's not comfortable to carry that heavy weight around. It's just what we're used to. So that's why we do it.
I'm of this belief system too, and I talk about this a lot on the show, that I believe everyone on the planet today that are living right now came here to heal. Came here not only to heal themselves, but to heal generations, ancestors, the planet, humanity. I mean, you can get it as big or as little as you want, but healing is critical in this time frame that we're in right now. And I think that's why it's so that you can find somebody that's a healer today, is because this is the time frame for all of us to be doing healing, not only on ourselves, but our families, our ancestors, everywhere. And healing is very different. It's what you resonate with, but it's also the same. It's different, but it's the same. If you went out and looked at modalities, years ago, we would be a Reiki person, or we would be a psychic, and we wouldn't be anything else. Today, if you go look for anyone doing this work, they have this huge toolbox, and they pull out different tools at different times to work on different things of what resonates with them. But there's no right or wrong or best or more effective. It's really the same. It's just who do you resonate working with, and what do you resonate in the type of healing that you're looking for. But all of us should be doing healing. All of us should be stepping in to do that. And, they're waiting for us to do that on so many different levels. I love that you say carry it around and name it, because it really is there.
Yeah, I was going to say what a beautiful world that would be too, as everyone heals, right? Because that's the hard part of this, is that there was pain. And so it's not that there won't be other pains, but there are easier ways to be in pain than carrying it around.
I love that. So you also talk about demystifying clairvoyance and energy healing and how it applies to real world settings, like how we can use it in our professions, in our businesses, and everything that we do. So share a little bit about what you mean by that.
Well, if you could imagine a business meeting, right, where it's some corporate setting where everybody's around the big table, right? Your energy precedes you. So if you walk into that meeting super frustrated with whatever happened last, right? That's the energy that comes into the meeting with you. And so there are ways, as we build awareness of how we carry energy and how it impacts us and the people in our relationships, that it influences every aspect of your life. So I work with a lot of corporate type business people to just help them understand first, what is the energy that you're carrying? It's amazing how many people have never connected with that thought. Right. And I remember who I was as that engineer who had never connected with that thought. Right. I thought that if I put on a rosy face, that everybody would just know that I was having a great day. And that isn't actually the case. And so being that authentic version of yourself and being able to switch the energy that you're carrying, right? That's one of the tools that I teach, is that you don't have to walk into that meeting super frustrated. Even no matter what happened to you right before it, you can change it. You have that power to change the energy that you're carrying and the vibrations that you choose. So that part, I think it is really fun to think about this world, Violet, where everyone can be healed, right? And everyone can become aware of energy on this level, because there are so many different ways that this can be applied in all of our relationships.
I love that. I love that because it's so true. And we are the creators of our own world based on the energy that we are putting out there. We attract more of that in. So, on the same key, if you're always negative, if you're always seeing the downside of everything, you're going to attract more of that energy into your life. And so I have people tell me all the time, so do you mean for me to fake it till I make it? Not really, but kind of yes. Switch your energy, learn how to be able to work with your energy to get into that space, whether it's listening to some music on a radio that shifts your mood, whether it's breath work, whether it's just taking a walk before you go do something and processing and working it out so you're in a better space. There are lots of tools, lots of ways to do that. But I think awareness of, okay, I wasn't upset 10 minutes ago, so why am I upset now? Is that really my energy or is it somebody else's that I've taken on? Right? You know, sometimes we just have to stop and go, okay, this isn't mine. I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to move into who I am and I'm going to move forward. That's a big tool to use in your life just to switch everything. Right?
Yeah, I remember when I first learned how to switch that energy. It was life-changing for sure. Or how to even not be overwhelmed by other people's energies, right? So there are so many tools like that. And I would add, Violet, in the sense of like, is it fake it till you make it? It's both and, right? It's recognizing that you're creating your life and that you can interrupt those old patterns, right? Where maybe you were always the victim. You can interrupt that thought pattern and that feedback loop and remind yourself that you're actually incredible and powerful and amazing. Because that is the truth of it. No matter what the hard parts are that come, we all deserve love. We all have incredible gifts. And we've been taught to not, some of us have been taught to not show them, to not access them. And that's really where I think some of the drama and the victim mentality in our world comes from, is just really not knowing that we're empowered to create our lives.
I love that. I love that. So, talk about unpacking the sacred act of listening to yourself and others. I love the sacred act of listening. Tell me what you mean by that.
Wow. Well, I would say the sacred act of listening to yourself is one of the pieces that I was missing for a really long time, right? That knowing that this voice that you talk to yourself with really matters, and how you can listen to what your body needs, to what you need. For probably a whole year, started with a journal prompt every day that was, what do you need, sweet one? And just to be able to talk to yourself with that kind of compassion and to genuinely listen. So sometimes that listening I'm putting my hand on my heart because this is how I do it now, right? I just put my hand on my heart and I listen to me and what's here for me. But you can also do it through journaling, and it's being willing, being open to hearing what comes. I think one of the biggest concerns I get for people in this who aren't really in this realm is, how do they know that it's real? How do they not just making it up? And I think that's really interesting, like ego concern, right? I remember thinking that there's too much serendipity in our world. There's too much coincidence for you to be making it up. It isn't how it works. And so when you hear that voice come in that knows how incredible you are and you can really listen to that, or knows that you need more water. There are some really simple things you can also learn by sacred listening. Um, to try trusting it instead of questioning it, to see how what comes through and see if it does actually make a lot of sense to you. Maybe not to the thing you learned from somebody who isn't really you, but maybe to you and to your heart.
I love that. One of the stories I tell, and I have to tell this again, is, at one point in my life, I was at a point where I had this deep feeling that my job was going to be eliminated with the company that I was working. Now, I'd worked there for many, many years. I had a solid reputation. I had built the department. Everybody saw the value I brought, but my heart kept telling me, and I kept feeling that strong knowing that you don't know where it comes from, but you just know it, that my job was going to be eliminated. And then one day I heard this voice that said, you need to buy some boxes. And I'm like, buy boxes? What am I buying boxes for? They're like, you need to start packing. Okay, where am I going? You just need to get the boxes. So this is called trust. I ordered the boxes. They came on Friday. I went with my best friend to the beach on Saturday. We were sitting on the beach. That's how we unwind after work. And I said, I ordered boxes. And she goes, what did you order boxes for? And I said, I don't really know. Spirit's telling me that I need to start packing. She goes, but what if you pack your house and nothing happens? I said, well, I guess I unpack it. I don't know. They told me to order the boxes. So I ordered the boxes. They're here. I'm going to start packing next week. She shook her head like most people would. Like, okay, she's a little loony. On Thursday the next week, my boss shows up in town unannounced. Takes him all day to talk to me. He paces outside of my office for hours.
Oh my gosh.
Hours. My father is on the other side. He passed when I was 8, and he's like, he doesn't even have the guts to come in here and tell you what he needs to tell you. And I said, Dad, stop. She goes, watch him. Just watch. It's entertaining just to watch.
Yeah, right.
Now, here's the thing. I was emotionally really upset underneath. I had put 6 years into this, right? It had been something really big for me, and I had made a life there, but they had been telling me for months, I've been getting this feeling, your job's going to get eliminated. Like, they were preparing me emotionally for what was coming. And I was very grateful for that, because if they hadn't done it and it had happened the way it did, it would have been really devastating. But because they did it the way that they did, I was like, okay, I don't know where I'm going. They're telling me I'm okay, and I got to buy boxes, and I'm moving. And still at that point, I had no idea where I was going, right? So my job was eliminated that day. That's called real trust, right? That trust of, this sounds really ridiculous, right? I don't know why anybody would do that. It's called, and when you trust, they guide you even more because they know you're paying attention. When you say, oh, that's crazy, and you push it to the side and you don't listen to it, think about how many times you've given advice to your children and they ignore you. How do you feel about that, right? I think about that with my guides. I'm sure they're like, I've tried
so many times to tell this woman.
Right? It's the same thing. If you think about it, they're trying to really help us. And when you listen, they're going to guide you even more. So if you get that gut feeling and you can't shake it, just trust it. Whatever you get, just start trusting it instead of questioning it, right? Just as Ali said, because beautiful things happen when you do that.
Absolutely. And to remember that you're supported, that there is all of this support here for you. If you can lean into it, right? If you're pretending that it's not here, then of course you won't feel it. But if you can lean into it, then it's here.
I love that. So Ali, share with us, if somebody wanted to work with you, if they wanted to spend some time with you, what are some of the things that you offer to clients? Because I also know you teach students. Just share a little bit of some of the stuff that you do.
Yeah, so I teach several classes a month, right? So there's ways to join in on the fun of intuition, right? I have intuition nights where we come together as a group and see what spirit and signs and information is here for us. And that's really fun because not only do you get the information for yourself, but you get to see how you're connected to all the other energy in the room. So you get to see how maybe a reading for another person in the room is also meant for you. And that just like kind of expands the experience a little bit. And so that group is really fun. I also teach a lot of meditation and mindfulness. And the reason that I do that is so that we can become aware of the energy that's in our bodies and in our lives and really start to choose our direction and what we want in this life. And so it's really in the pause, in creating a pause in your life that you can start to listen and start to hear what you really want. And then, so those are the group options, but I also offer one-to-one sessions, which are, if I'm honest, my favorite, because we get to work one-on-one and we can really dive into where it is exactly that you are stuck and or where you are looking to go and really give you information, right, to bring to clarity what might be happening, but also tools so that you can start to create the change in your life. So it's not just about the information that comes from being clairvoyant and from the magic of how all of this works, but it's also some practical tools that you can, start to figure this out and create your own life.
I love that. I love that. And we have her website at the bottom of the video if you're watching. We will also have it in the description if you're listening on your favorite channels, where you can connect in with Ali and be able to check out all of her offerings. Ali, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Oh, I am so honored, Violet. I really appreciate it. What a fun conversation. I appreciate
it. Was a fun conversation. And if you want to learn more about tools to help you with your energy, to help you with your psychic development, definitely check out Ali's offerings. That's a great way to start shifting your life. I believe all of us at some points throughout our lives, we need someone to guide us, help us. It's good to be in community with others as well. And so any opportunity you can get to do either of those, I think is really powerful. So thank you so much, Ali, for sharing your perspective with us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
For those listening, thank you for listening. I wish you a sacred and magical day and week. I hope that you will comment, like, and follow us on your favorite platforms. And I hope that we will see you again really soon. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.